Welcome to another episode of The Play
The play
Callers.
callers.
What's going on, y'all? This is your boy Steve Box, joined as always by the other half of the dynamic duo Sports Talk, the one and the only.
You already know it's
Cool.
Cool McCain.
So cool, man. You held it down last week while your boy was gone. Appreciate that. You had some help from some of our loyal listeners who tuned in and helped out. So we appreciate them tuning in and being a part of the show. So if you are new here and you've never seen an episode of Play Callers before, that's what we do. So whether it's in the chat, whether you come on live with us on video, whether you leave a message on the Play Callers hotline, no matter how you want to interact with us, we've got a way for you to do that. But
Yes,
it all
sir.
starts with hitting that subscribe button right down there in that bottom right hand corner. Y'all know where it is.
Just in case.
So man, I heard a rumor going around that there's the NBA playoffs going on. Just crazy thing I heard about, man. You don't know anything about it, man? Yeah.
From what I can surmise, but it's a little bit more than a rumor. We actually getting
Yeah.
kind of deep into it. You know what I'm saying? We get into that conference finals.
Yeah, man. We got the conference finals going. We one of them we're about to have the second game, but one of them we're already 3 games in. So
Yep.
we are really already getting close to kind of find out who might be representing one side in the NBA finals. The other side we might have to wait a little bit longer on, but we'll see.
I think we're gonna be waiting on both.
Oh yeah. I don't think you don't think either one of these series is ending quickly now.
Yeah. Yeah. You already know. Out west, man, we got them Clippers
Nope.
running up with them Suns. It's looking pretty good. Um, for those of you who may not have been watching the entire series, Game one, Phoenix pretty much manhandled the Clippers. It was a one sided game. But the Clippers, they hung in there. They ain't just get drugged, but it was pretty decisive who the winner was going to be. Game two, the Clippers gave the game to the Suns. Game three, they went ahead and took it home. Um, they don't have Kawhi Leonard, so they're basically operating with Paul George and then whoever else steps up and helps out. And big shout out to Tyron Lue. He doesn't get enough props, but he's been tinkering with the lineup, trying to get the right lineup in to counteract what Phoenix likes to do. And I think he figured it out in Game three, at least temporarily. So you got to give him props for that because you lose Game three, you're in a really what do you call it, a pickle.
A
But he
pickle.
stopped that from happening. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, it's been interesting, man. We've seen this little bit of a pattern with them. On one hand, I want to give Ty Lue credit because in every series he's made some nice adjustments, right? I mean, this has been over and over again. But at the same time, they've also been down 0-2 in every series. So at the same time, I got to give him some praise. I also have to, put a little blame on him too now because it's not a good look that you keep getting down 0-2 in every series. I mean, you as a Denver fan last year know you can't keep putting yourself in these holes because eventually you're not gonna get out of one.
I will say this: if you're a team that's going to put yourself in the hole, it's the team that's already come out of it twice, right? You said all along, the Clippers are solved. The Clippers ain't gonna get it done, you know. And so far, you've been wrong this year. Now, this is a different situation because now they don't have Paul George. I mean, excuse me, they have Paul George. They don't have Kawhi Leonard, who, by the way, in case you missed it, was up in the press box with his kids last night watching the game. Um, but here's the thing about it. Like we could talk about, the matchups and all those good things, and that's great. And we done heard about that all week. And how Paul George has stepped up in the wins and in the losses. He's been um, pandemic P, but in the wins, he's been more like playoff P, and all that is all great and good. And we talk about that all day. And Ant, by the way, is a Clippers fan. So if you want to get a bird's eye perspective of the Clippers, That's the man that needs to hop on and maybe give us a little Clipper insight. But from what I've seen, I'll put it to you like this: the Clippers can win the series. The Clippers have been in this position before. They know how to get out of this position, right? You don't want to be in this position, but if you're stuck in this position, you want to be a team that's done it before with the same guys that's in the locker room with you right now. They won the last series without Kawhi. Now, he helped them get there, don't get me wrong, but to close it out, he wasn't there. They should have won game 2, but Paul George had a moment where things ain't really go well for him. And it happens. People want to ride him like that, but he's been more solid these playoffs, and he's been the number 2 when Kawhi was there. And without him, he's the unquestioned number 1 option on this team, and he's handled it fairly well. But when you start looking into Bulls, you playing Tyler, but when you start looking into what's going to need to happen for the series to be closed out, we know what it is. Paul George, Reggie Jackson, the defense is going to have to stay solid. Zubac is going to continue to have to do what he did last night. Terrence Mann is going to have to continue to play out of his mind. But these are things that can happen. Now, also, we don't know the standards right now of Cameron Payne. That's a big blow for Phoenix if they don't have him, because they have enough to be able to kind of close down Chris Paul and then Devin Booker with this whole thing with the broken nose and that mask and all that. And a lot of times you play differently when you got all this stuff going on. But they found a good mix. But what they need to do to really make things happen, man, they got to come out hard. They come out strong, and they got to punch them in the face every game, and they got to stay aggressive on offense, because Phoenix is going to put up points, but the Clippers can win this series, and I still believe they will win this series.
Yeah, here's the thing. Phoenix, I felt like what happened was last night they went into that game maybe a little overly confident. They went a little bit cocky. They won the first 2 games. And although there's some argument to be made that the Clippers kind of handed them game 2, Phoenix had just as much right to feel like they pretty much did what they wanted to do. So walking off the court game 2, they felt like they handled their business. They feel good about where they were. And I think maybe they let their guard down just a little bit. You get into the end of that second or the end of that first half. It's a close game, but you don't really feel threatened. You feel pretty good about where things are. And then they came out in the second half, man, and just I think it was a combination of the Clippers playing better defense, making some lineup changes, like you said, but also it was just a matter of Phoenix went a little bit cold with some of the shooting too. So you go down, you get a 21-3 run, and then at that point it's gonna be hard to win a game when you let somebody go on a 21-3 run. If I can actually talk today, that's gonna always make it more difficult on you. So the question becomes, was that just that Phoenix went a little bit cold? Were they a little overconfident, or is this going to be a matter of the Clippers really did make some adjustments? And then if so, can Phoenix make the adjustments back? That's what makes NBA playoffs so fun to watch, is the fact we get games where you get to see this chess match happen over a 7-game series. So that's what makes it exciting. But I'm still sticking with my Phoenix pick.
Bottom line, man, it's really simple. There's only so many adjustments that can be made. The Clippers have made the proper adjustments, and you may have to tinker a little bit depending on how certain people play. But what you have is you have a game 2 where Paul George misses the 2 free throws at the end of the game, and not to dump on him, but just to spit the facts of what happened and why I got there. He doesn't miss those 2 free throws. That alley-oop does not occur because they need 3 points to win, not an alley-oop. So that's a big moment, and anyone could feel how they want to feel about it. I'm not gonna go into that route. All I'm gonna simply say is this simply right here. This could easily be 2-1 the other way. It's not, but there's one team that's ready for that. You know what I'm saying? There's one team that's like, yo, we done this, we ready for this. There's another team that's like, we got Chris Paul back, but now we lost Campaign. We're not going to get 40-point outbursts every game from Devin Booker. So if they can't get that from Devin Booker on a consistent basis, can they win? We don't know that yet, but we know that momentum goes in spurts.
Yep.
So you've given the Clippers momentum. They're at home again for game 4. So I'm expecting this to be 2-2 coming out of here. We got 2 more games in Phoenix after that, 1 more game in LA. So LA is going to have to win a game on the road. Big whoop. They had to do that for the beginning of the series anyway.
Right.
So I'm going to say LA, I'm going to go 7. I've been saying LA from when this series started. I'm sticking with it. I think that's a solid team. And I think that there may just be a little bit more of a chip on their shoulder without Kawhi because a lot of people counted them out before a game even got played without Kawhi. So you're putting them in a position where you're giving them all the motivation they need. And you got to think about that when you got people picking against the team, when you got commentators, everybody saying, oh, they're going to lose this game, especially without Kawhi. That's something that gels teams together, bro. And it's going to happen with this one. Watch and see.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, I think there is that little bit of a factor with this, right? Is Clippers obviously feel a little bit disrespected because, like you said, everybody counted them out once Kawhi went down. And then with Phoenix, it's kind of the opposite, right? They've been the team that people doubted on all year, and now a lot of people are starting to heap that love on them. They're starting to give them all this praise. And sometimes teams are able to block that out, still keep that chip on their shoulder, you know. But some teams, they start hearing that media talk. They start hearing about how they already been crowned champions, how they going to the NBA finals. And it gets in their head. They start to play like they've already won. And this Clippers team, although I still think they're soft until they actually win the championship, they have been playing much better than I anticipated for them to play. And they've got a lot of talent. This is not a team that you can just go out there and play as if you've already won. You had to go out there and put up 60 minutes against them every night. Because if you don't, all it takes is 4 or 5 minute run of you sleeping. They hit a couple big shots, and all of a sudden you're gonna find yourself down 15, 20 points, and you're like, wait, what just happened?
Yep. It'll happen. Now I know we got a couple of new people, and we're still a little early in the show. But guys, we got the links in the comments. You want to hop on and kind of discuss what we're discussing with us, feel free to hop on. As well. Don't forget to subscribe, like. Let's run this thing. Let's keep it moving. Now we already hit up, one series. We kind of closed out the other series last week. But before I move any further, you weren't here last week. So is there anything you wanted to talk about in regards to the previous series that ended before we got to these games we had now?
I mean, the only thing I'm going to really talk about from the previous series is I think if there's one team that's got to figure out what they're going to do long term here, it is Philadelphia. Because I know that the talk for the last couple weeks have been, what about Ben Simmons? I mean, here's reality. I think they would love to trade Ben Simmons. I don't know that anyone's going to actually be willing to take him. Even if they turn around and offer like first round picks to people to take him, it's going to be tough to get rid of that contract. So they may be stuck with just trying to build him up. Clippers are 7.
Yes, sir. I'm telling you. And then the other thing, we could talk about Ben Simmons and the 76ers for the whole show. Like literally. And I ain't being fun. We can talk about it for the whole show. All I'm gonna say on them is simply this.
Why does it keep popping up?
It's gonna be hard for it to go away. Right? It's gonna be hard for it to just stop. Because until you do something with Ben Simmons, what you're gonna have to do with Ben Simmons is you're gonna have to move into a different position. You can't have a guy playing point guard playing the way he's playing. Now, what you also are going to have to do is you're going to have to think about ways that you can be creative if you're going to keep him in the lineup. Now, what I've been saying and what I'm continue to say, you paying this dude like $36 million a year and he can't shoot.
Yeah.
There's a lot of people that are to blame in this. He gets some blame. Organization gets some blame. Whoever's supposed to be his trainers get some blame. All that. But at the end of the day, the organization paid this man $36 million and he can't shoot. And if you offer me a contract for $36 million right now, I'm going to sign it.
Listen, I'm going to go ahead and just put it out there. If the 76ers are looking for somebody that can come out there and instantly get him like at least 10% better percentage on free throws, you only have to pay me like 3 mil.
Well, I will say this: I definitely agree with Megan's comment. I saw that you put it up earlier, but I definitely agree. Um, that's what I've been saying all along. You got to realize when these teams don't have everybody, that's a whole different argument. It's a whole different ball game. Now you in attack mode the whole time. Now you got guys that kind of sit by complacently and watch Kawhi work. It can't happen anymore. You got to step up. That's what you're there for. That's what you get a contract for. Unless you're Ben Simmons, you should be able to shoot the ball and make free throws.
Yeah, and I mean, look, let's go ahead and give Paul George some credit with that real quick because he is the dude who has been the biggest criticism, right? He's the one who's disappeared in the biggest moments. And you might make the argument about him missing those free throws, but truthfully, man, everyone's gonna miss a free throw every now and then. You can't take away from the way he played the entire game because it's not like he completely choked at the end of the game. He just missed a couple of shots.
Oh no,
And
I'm
yeah,
not
they were
knocking.
big shots, but yeah.
Yeah, no,
Well,
I'm
I'm
not
not
knocking
saying
them
you
all.
specifically.
Yeah,
I'm just saying,
you
people have
shouldn't be.
been.
Yeah. Oh, of course. I mean, anytime Paul George does anything, if Paul George misses a layup, Paul George is trash. He's soft. He can't make layups. I mean, that's just what it is. He got to
Yeah,
embrace it and just realize you're the villain from now on. So just embrace it.
yeah.
You know what I'm saying? You just got to embrace that. And we got to hop over to the other series here. We already
Yep.
had game one,
Mm-hmm.
um, but we getting ready to have game two later on the night. But I got to put it to you like this, real as can be. You know what I'm saying? I've been on the Milwaukee train all year. On my other shows, I rep Milwaukee. That's like been my second team. Um, very disappointed in how they played. Very disappointed in the defense. Very disappointed in the coaching. Very disappointed in intensity. The rotations, the matchups. I mean, you pretty much did everything that you could to blow the game, and guess what? It worked. And I'm not taking anything away from Atlanta. I didn't pick Atlanta to be here. I was wrong. I've been wrong before. But Trae Young is a star, and he's really had a coming out party in these playoffs. Got to give him props. Got to give him respect for that. At the same time, man, you shouldn't have time to get the ball, square your shoulders up, breathe, look at the goal, and then shoot on any NBA
Don't
team.
don't forget the shimmy. Don't forget the shimmy.
I'm talking about the shimmy. You could place that in. I choose to relieve that part from my memory. That was, I mean, it wasn't even the most disappointing part, but I feel you. But just, you got to be harder than that. I said this last night. Ben said this. There's no one on the Hawks that can guard Giannis. The only person that can stop Giannis is Giannis. And Giannis has been doing a very good job of that in some key moments of the game. Stop. Like,
Yep.
stop. Why are you stopping yourself? Like, you're a freak. You're 6'10 dude, swole. You don't have a great shot, but you got a decent, mid-range shot. You can take the ball to the hole most of the time. You had the ability to pass. You can dunk over a lot of these dudes. You're a defensive player of the year. You're a former MVP. Bro, get out there and get it. Don't allow your team to lose games. Wield in the wins when everybody else ain't get it like they should. That's what you're supposed to be doing. Time to do it.
Look, real talk. I don't even understand why Giannis is ever even outside of the arc. He
Hmm.
just shouldn't be. The only time that dude should be outside of the 3-point line is when he's running back down the court. That's it. That's the only time he should be there. The rest of the time, he needs to be inside the 3-point line. Why? Because you do have a mid-range game. You're able to get people on some ball phase. You can be drawing fouls, although that's maybe not the best philosophy for him personally. But you can get to the hole. You need to be taking it up with aggression. Don't sit there and do this little nonsense you've been doing, man. Like, I just don't get it. And I know one thing that you pointed out about him that is a bit of a criticism is he has a real tendency, once he passed the ball off, he's not looking to get it back. He's going straight for the rebound. He's basically taking himself out to play and just said, okay, I'm just gonna hope for you to shoot this ball now.
Oh, he's
And you can't do that.
he's not even going for the rebound now. Now he's setting the screen and looking at the goal. Like, we really need him. And this is for any guy who has the skill set that he has. If you're, a player and you have that kind of height, that type of athleticism, that type of explosion, anytime a shot is going up, you should be going to the goal. There are situations where you need to step out and say, all right, let me get the rock, let me make a play because I'm that guy on the team. But a lot of times you have other guys like a Chris Middleton, Drew Holiday, and several others I can name that can, take a shot. But you should be there that doing what you need to do. And if you're not going to do that, then it's not going to work for you. You have to learn to will that team into wins. You have to learn to say, you know what? No matter what happens, we're going to make it happen. This comment is a great point. That comment is a great point.
It is a great point. So that's why I put it up there. And Ant wants us to let a Reggie Jackson and T. Oh, okay. He finished his sentence out there.
Oh, absolutely, bro. Ain't no doubt about that. Ain't no arguments that could be made with that one.
Oh, and I know you can't really tell, but this shirt is a FSU shirt. So trust me, I know all about Terrence Mann.
But you know what? You didn't think he was going to be doing what he's doing right now, though.
No, I didn't.
You didn't think that.
I didn't think that. Nobody thought that. Terrence Mann ain't think that.
Paul George thought that. You clearly didn't see the interview after the game the other day. He's been going off like this in practice the whole time, but it hasn't translated over to the games. So PG went to him like, yo, we need this in the games, bro. Like, do the same thing you do in the practice. And it's starting to translate over. Anytime you have a guy that's able to do it in practice, that shows you he has the ability to do it. If you got the ability to do it, then all it is getting in that right mindset and making it happen.
But yeah, but going back to this Atlanta Milwaukee series. So here's my thing. You basically have two guys that are both unguardable, right? So for the Bucks, there's nobody that's gonna stop Giannis. But on the other hand, I didn't see any evidence in game one that Milwaukee has anybody at all that can stop Trae Young. I don't even think they could double team Trae Young and stop him. Because unless he goes out there and just starts missing shots, that's really their only hope. So the question becomes, what is the rest of the team going to do? Now, Atlanta got a lot of help from some other guys in game one. I want to pick Atlanta in this series because I told you before the series even started, I just kind of had a feeling about them. But at the same time, I just can't bring myself at this point right now to say, you know what, they're going to consistently get that kind of effort from other guys. I just can't.
Matt Truck with no brakes, huh? Hey, it do look like that a lot of time when he get going downhill, but that is something that I think he need to work on in the offseason. Just being able to go like you going hard, stop, pull up, and shoot the little floater or the little quick J. That would be like a whole different game changer. I think we're at a point with Giannis where the whole talk of him being a 3-point shooter, man, let's just squash that. Like, you know what I'm saying? Don't even waste the time. You stay inside the arc, working on the 10 to 15 footers, the floaters, different moves, and different things like that. And you just be that player. You be the best at that you can be. And just stop trying to fall in love with the three. Later on in your career, as you progress, maybe you develop a different shot, and you work on that three. But let's just keep it where you're solid right now, where you can help the team. You're not going to help the Bucks shooting threes. You're not going to help the Bucks standing around. You're playing a lot of minutes because we're not as deep as we do need to be, but we're deeper than we would have been. The Bucks, of course. But at the end of the day, what's got to happen is Drew Holiday has to be able to contain Trae Young. That's why you're there. You're also a first-team all-defensive player. Show it. Stats are great. Well, that might be what you think, but he can. But he has to do it. And here's the simple fact. Drew Holiday has not been in the right mental space the whole playoffs. I don't know what's going on. If it's just he's a little off, whatever, but he has not been in the right mental space offensively or defensively for most of the playoffs. You had a one-legged James Harden that not I ain't gonna say he went off on him, but he did more than he should have been able to do with his limited mobility. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
He just hasn't been what he needs to be. Hopefully that changes because they're going to need that in order to really minimize what Atlanta does. At the end of the day, if Atlanta goes out and Trae Young scoring 40 to 50 points a game every game, that's going to put too much stress on the defense. That's going to cause them to try to overcompensate, which is going to give other guys easy shots. That happens, Atlanta wins the series. What I believe is going to happen is Milwaukee's going to find a defense. They're going to play better on the other guys, and we're going to see Drew Holiday, at least be able to somewhat slow down Trae Young. You're not going to hold Trae Young under probably 30 points. But if you can hold him to, I say 30 to 35, and you can play good defense on everybody else, that's the way you can win games. But if you can't at least do that, you're going to be in a very difficult situation trying to win the series.
Yeah, I mean, ultimately, that's what it comes down to is Milwaukee's got to play better defense. Atlanta's going to have to continue to get production out of other guys. And that's why I'm going to go ahead and stick right now with Milwaukee in 7. But I'm only about 60-40 on this prediction. So it wouldn't take much to convince me that Atlanta might be able to actually pull this off. But right now, I'm giving Milwaukee the edge and going 7.
Well, I've been saying Bucks Clippers in the finals. I'm gonna continue to say Bucks Clippers in the finals, and that's who's gonna be in the finals. So in order to get there, the Clippers got to win their series, and the Bucks got to win their series. So guess what? The Bucks are winning.
So Megan say she put it on the line.
That's okay, 7. Megan. Megan knows a lot about sports, and I respect her opinion. But hey, she's just not gonna be right on this one.
So, in other basketball news, looks like the Dallas Mavericks do have a new head coach. They're going to be hiring Jason Kidd. So, how do you feel about that hire?
So, there's a couple of different answers to this. As a person, I think a lot of people would say Jason Kidd hire, some things have happened with Jason Kidd. I'm not going to drag up the man's past, but I'm just going to say some things have happened with him. But from a basketball standpoint, coached Milwaukee for a while. He's been an assistant. You look at the situation. You get a chance to coach a guy in Luka who is a point guard. So you get a chance to maybe have him listen to you, where I don't think he was listening to Rick Carlisle. So I think you get a chance to get a guy that can come in and maybe get Luka to play the way you need Luka to play in order for them to be able to get out of the first round, go deep in the playoffs, and possibly win down the road. Also, you get a guy that young players are going to respect because he was a player, played at a high level. He's coached before, so he has experience. So he's not a first timer walking into a situation not knowing what to expect.
Yep.
It isn't the person that I would have anticipated them taking. Because, my theory all along was that he was going to wait until y'all's coach contract was over after this coming season and slide over into the big chair. But I guess this was one of those opportunities where he said, unlike Portland, let me get it. So that's what I think happened. Agreed, Ant. I know you're talking about Giannis. Agreed.
Yeah, I was going to say, I'm assuming that's about Giannis. He better call the dream up.
They need to call somebody up. Just got to work on being the best in there you could be. Don't even worry about the rest. But yeah, I think it's a good hire from the standpoint of it was kind of not who I expected, but it does make sense when you really sit back and think about it. And even Carlisle endorsed him to be the coach, right? Even Carlisle was like, I think you should hire him as the next coach. So I think you got the right guy in there. We're just gonna have to see how it works.
Yeah, I think that it's a good hire for them. Kidd is a guy that hasn't really necessarily won as a coach at the highest level, but his previous coaching stint, he was pretty decent. It's not like he was a bad head coach. Yeah. So, we always talk about how guys learn a lot from their first experience as a head coach, how they usually come back much better the second time around. So the fact that he actually was a pretty good coach the first time, and now coming back around, that really gives him an opportunity to be a lot more successful.
Yeah, it does. Now we know we
So
had another coaching hire as well.
you mean the first black head coach in Celtics history? Hashtag sarcasm.
I mean, I guess I don't know what happened with Doc. Carr was it ML Carr, and then Simmons was a player coach. Russell was a player coach. I guess those didn't happen.
Yeah.
Um,
So
and that's
Woody, I
that.
think the answer to your question is about as well as I'm doing my Lakers out. I think that's the answer to that question.
Just gonna take a moment here since you asked the question. You know what I'm saying? Since it was asked, I ain't bring it up. Someone asked me, so I have to respond to my fans. You know what I'm saying? I got to respond to people in my community that's watching. I'm not very happy about that, Whitty. Not very happy at all, bro. You know what I'm saying? But I mean, all jokes aside, we couldn't win a championship without Jamal Murray, right? And if you can't win a championship, doesn't matter if you go out in round 2 or round 3. We can't win a championship without Jamal Murray. But guess what, though? Next year's coming. Next year's coming. I'm gonna leave it
Yeah.
there.
Yes, it's been a bit rough, man. Yeah, so back to what you were saying about this coaching hire for Boston.
Oh, but Whitty, one more thing. How them Hornets doing though? How them Hornets doing, Whitty?
Yeah, so Megan, brings up a good point too. We all know about Jason Kidd's history with domestic violence, so I definitely understand why people might have a personal issue with him.
Yep.
Uh, you know, Obviously, what we're talking about here is just strictly from a professional standpoint, what he offers as a head coach. But I certainly do not blame anyone who wants to hold it against him.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, really, there's nothing else you can really say about it.
But yeah, I think this was a good hire for Boston, man, because this is a guy that's got quite a bit of assistant experience.
Hmm.
He's coached under some really successful coaches. So he understands what it takes to create a winning locker room. He understands the game. He's been around for a while. He's a guy that, from what I've heard from different players, is he's a great teacher. He's a guy that players really gravitate to and have a lot of respect for. And I think you need that in today's NBA because with especially a lot of these younger players, they need to feel a connection with their coach. Like this, the old school, like I'm the coach, you're the player kind of attitude. It just doesn't really work in today's NBA.
True. So true. Now I knew this next comment was coming. I was gonna try to slide it in there before she did because I knew she was gonna say it. But yeah, it was definitely from that Popovich tree, and he puts out a lot of people that really know what they're doing. As far as coaching. So that's a positive he has going for him too. Um, I just have to say, Jay Williams, bro, what is you doing? You've been roasted a lot, so I ain't even gonna take the time to roast you anymore. But come on, man, the first black head coach to Celtics history. You got to know the history of the game better than that, and you played basketball.
Bro.
You know what I'm saying? Like, come on, man. Come on, dude.
I just want to know what was the facial expression of like Doc Rivers. If nobody else, just what was Doc Rivers' facial expression when he heard that?
The same one he always got.
He was like, bro, didn't you?
The same one, you know what I'm saying?
I mean, you can't even remember the dude that actually just won a title, the most recent title for Boston. I mean, come on.
Maybe he forgot that he was black.
I don't know, man. How you forget that?
I don't know either, man. All I know is that something happened with Jay Williams, man. Maybe he had a little bit too much to drink before he made the post or something. Something went down. But let's just hope, man, that that's just a little reminder for everybody, bro. Just make sure you write before you start putting stuff online. You know what I'm saying? We got Google. All you gotta do is go to Google and put in black head coaches in Boston history, Boston Celtics history. That's all you gotta do. Just make sure you're right before you post it, bro.
This is the problem, man. Look, I'm gonna put this out there. We do things a little bit different here than what most of the media does, right? Because we get on here on Friday nights live. We talk, we interact with the fans. We don't worry about if we're the first people to talk about something. We're not trying to break news around here. We just here to talk sports and have fun. A lot of these dudes, they out there trying to be the first one to say something. And when you are that focused on like, oh, I have to be the first to say it, you end up saying stupid stuff like this. And I'm not just talking about him in particular. I'm talking about anybody that plays this game. If that's your whole focus, yeah.
Speaking of people saying stupid stuff, while we're thinking about that, what's wrong with Scottie Pippen? What's wrong with Robin? Robin mad because he ain't Batman now? What's wrong with Scottie?
Scotty has been upset ever since the last dance, bro.
Now
He's taking
Scottie
out
out
the
here.
whole world.
Scottie out here talking about this Doc Rivers' fault that Ben Simmons can't shoot. How can it be Doc Rivers' fault? But Ben Simmons ain't never been able to shoot. Now, Doc Rivers coached Ben Simmons in Little League, Pee Wee, middle school, high school, college, and he was with him his whole career. Then, yeah, maybe it is his fault. But guess what? That ain't what happened, bro. It's not what happened. If you say Doc should have did a better job of fixing it, no, he couldn't. If you want to say Doc could have did a better job of finishing, then that is what it is, or trying to make him a little bit better. But you can't put that on Doc. That's been there. This man, reports coming out, reports. And when I say reports, talking about that Stephen A. Smith, because Stephen A. Smith out there talking about he got his family and that's the only people he listen to and he's entitled and he don't work hard. And I got to be honest with you, I'm not saying when they say work hard, I don't take it like he don't do any work, but I'm taking it like he doesn't say, I need to be a better shooter and really put work into being a better shooter. I need to be better at making free throws and really put the time into the areas that he's weak in. And that's what you mean by lazy, because he's a good defensive player because he's young, he's tall, he's athletic. So that's not something that he has to put a lot of individualized time into. But as someone who played basketball and someone who coached, never in no pro level or nothing like that. And one-on-one, we put it out here, one-on-one, even though Ben Simmons can't shoot, he would crush me probably 20-1 or 20-0 if we was playing one-on-one, because he is that good. He's a professional NBA player. But I'm just saying, compared to his peers, you are a terrible shooter, and that's something you got to improve on. You got to put in the work to improve on that. He ain't putting in the work. You can tell because he's not improving. You see guys like Kawhi come into the league, not be a great shooter, work on it. Even LeBron, at the point, was not a great shooter. MJ wasn't a great shooter. There's a lot of guys. You can go down the laundry list of guys that came into the league. Robert Horry, a lot of guys came into the league. They weren't great shooters, but they really worked on it, at least became decent at it. You got to put in the work, though. Got to put in the work.
So, with it, just to answer your comment, we did talk a little bit earlier about the Ben Simmons possibility of getting traded. And here's the thing: you don't pay the kind of money that you're paying Ben Simmons to have somebody just come out and be a defensive guy with zero offensive expectations. That's just not realistic. For the kind of money he's making, he's got to have some offensive expectations.
Now, yeah, this was kind of what we said. Now, the whole thing with KD and Pippen, for you who may not have heard about it, Pippen had some comments about KD's game and how he's not as good as LeBron and different things. To go a little deeper into it, he also said in a different post how LeBron didn't have help when he won his championships. And I'm like, bro, with the moment you say that, that's what I'm like, bro. Everything else Scottie got to say, I'm like, yo, chill. Can't even talk about it no more, because you sit up there talking about this man did not have help when all of his championships he had other dudes with him. And it's not a knock on him, don't get me wrong, because you always got to have help to win. But to try to make it seem like LeBron is in this rarefied air and KD ain't there, it's just sad. You know what I'm saying? Now, I do love KD's comeback because, KD is one of the pettiest dudes ever. I respect the fact that he is that petty a lot. But to end it all, this cat goes out for shooting practice with a with a Kukoc jersey on, bro. First of all, where did you get a Kukoc jersey? Because we know you ain't have it before this started. You know what I'm saying? Then on top of that, KD's comeback was slick. Like it was perfect to me because it was slick. It was accurate. It ain't really covered a point, but it's one of them like, yo, okay, you coming to me, I'm about to come at you, bro. Want you the same dude that wouldn't go in the game when the coach decided that Kukoc was going to take the shot instead of you? Like,
Right.
you know what I'm saying? So I just thought that was all funny games. And it was kind of cute a little bit. A little riled up. Some dudes that one dude looking for a little relevancy, and one dude that does not take any opportunity to be petty for granted.
No.
So just thought that was funny. And Scotty, man, I don't know what's going on with you, bro, but you know, I hate that I hate the Last Dance messed you up that much, man, but it did. You know what I'm
You know what
saying?
it is, man? They put that man business out there of how he basically took that little bit of money for 7 years. Now he made the whole world
Yeah,
know that he was out there
yeah,
playing basketball for next to nothing.
yeah. They got played for all them years. I think he might be a little salty about that. You know what I'm saying? Yeah, it might be it. But I think that they have, Megan. They have. Matter of fact, they were saying it in college. Matter of fact,
But it's Doc Rivers' fault.
but
In
matter
fact,
of
it's
fact,
Doc Rivers' fault that the Sixers drafted him.
in high school, I remember when I was in high school. Well, when he was in high school, not me, but when he was in high school, and I was reading a report about him, they were saying that he needed to develop a shot. So this is something that's been going back with him for a minute.
Bro, you talking about you in high school? I was about to say what you about to tell me that Ben Simmons they told me he need to work on a shot back in pre-K? Like
Hey man, come on, man. Come on, man. You just as old as I am, man. Come on, man.
I know this, man. I know this.
Come on, man. Come on, man.
Not look, this Ronnie Lott jersey behind me also it's my age, man. So
Yeah, true that. True that.
at least for a couple months.
But then back to the Celtics hire, because I got a little bit off that. I do that from time to time. It's all good. I do think he's the right coach for them. Great hire. He's a guy that's going to get in what they need. He's a guy that's going to develop. He's going to help get the most out of the young talent. They got to figure out what they're going to do at point guard. They got to figure out a big man to get up in there. They did bring one in with the trade, but I still think you need a young guy too, because you can't play Al Horford, but so many minutes at the five at this point in his career. You're right about that one right there too, Ant. You're 100% right about that one. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. Of course, there's about 36 familiar reasons why it's probably not gonna happen.
Hey, I'm saying though, man, somebody out there will grab Ben Simmons if they put him on the block. You know what I'm saying?
I think their best chance of trading him, honestly, is gonna be there's gonna be a team out there that has the salary cap space to absorb him. It doesn't really care about winning. All they care about is collecting draft picks. So we might be talking about Oklahoma City. We might be talking about somebody who's following the Oklahoma City game plan.
I was about to say, because Oklahoma City, bro, they trying to have 5 picks in every draft for the next 5 years, 5 first-round picks. You know what I'm saying? I think they're gonna try to flip Kimba for some picks.
Oh, they are. They're going to. They definitely.
They're worried about getting rid of Thompson. That's for sure.
Yep.
We have to trade him, Megan.
Yep.
We have to trade him. It's a lot of teams going to have a lot of work to do. And just so everybody's watching the replay or watching live, we're going to be delving into some of that, what teams need to do division by division, a little bit later on once we get through the championship and get all that hopping. But we'll get into some of that and see what's going on. And
since we'll have a real off season this year.
Real off season. It's crazy. It's been like 2 years since we had one. But also keep in mind, guys, the link's posted. We can repost it for you if you want to hop on with us and just chop it up for a few minutes about a specific topic. Run it. Now, also, we have a third hire that relates to the first hire. So, Rick Carlisle ran out on Dallas and went back to Indiana. So that's interesting.
Yeah.
Just from the standpoint outside of the basketball stuff, the fact that you had a job in Indiana, you left the job in Indiana, went to Dallas, you've been pretty successful there. Now you go back to um, Indiana again, different team. I think it's something you got to work on getting that team together and making things happen. Yeah,
Yeah.
well, I agree with that, Ant. But I tell you one thing, I don't want him in Denver. That's for sure.
So you
You
want
might
him?
end up in LA. You might end up in LA with the Lakers.
Not at that price.
All LeBron got to do is say, I want him. He'll be there.
Not at that price.
But now I hear some rumors that LeBron wants Kimba to go there. And then I saw a report earlier today that said that Spencer Dinwiddie is going to the guard for the Nets that y'all might have forgot about because he was hurt pretty much the whole year. But that he may be interested in going to LA and playing for the Lakers as well. So they'll probably have some options, trades and everything, as will a lot of teams. I just thought it was interesting that they came out. I don't even know why you're gonna put that mess up there, man. I don't even know why you're wasting everybody's time with that. Ben, you must be talking about a different Ben. Ben Wallace, you talking about back in the day with Ben Wallace? Because you can't be talking about that dude Ben Simmons.
Look, Ben Roethlisberger might be more benefit to the Nuggets than Ben Simmons.
Ben Gordon at this age might be more beneficial because he probably can still shoot. You know what I'm saying? I want shooters.
Yeah, look, you talk about some Ben Simmons might go to the Lakers. We need shooters out in Lakerland, man.
Hey, but
we've already discussed that in depth today.
If you put him in power forward, you know what I'm saying? He'll be all right. He's 16, 11, put him at power forward. Let him rebound. Get layups. That's what we like to do.
Ask Montrezl Harrell if we need more power forwards.
Well, you definitely need more power forwards because you got one center that needs to go like last year, and he just got there this year.
Yeah, we're not gonna talk about that though.
He moves slower than me on the court.
We're gonna just keep that moving.
I'm just saying he moves slower than me on the court, bro. That's all I'm saying.
Yeah, I feel you.
No, the Carlisle thing. Just to hop back to finish that up. I think he's a good coach for that type of team. You got a blend of young guys and guys that just need to kind of blend together and play well together. They've been established a little bit. They've been coached up a little bit. So you just kind of coming in, putting the finishing touches on it, trying to write things, maybe implement a different system, use some guys differently. The guy that they hired, I'm not surprised he only made it a year. But this is, I think, a good stability move for them and somebody you expect to have around for a while so players can buy into what he's going to do and he'll use the team to the best of his ability. So I think that's a pretty good hire, a little shocking as well, but a pretty good hire.
Yeah, I mean, it's a good hire for them. You have to sometimes think about what do teams have expectation-wise. And for where Indiana is right now, I think it's a good hire. I know you saw witty comments. I know you're just ignoring it.
No, not ignoring that.
He's
gotta get some props for that.
He's trolling. He's trolling hard today.
Hey, when that's what you rock with, I gotta give you props for that. Gotta give you props for that. Now, also, man, we've had the rosters announced for the men's and the women's national basketball teams. I'm sure you've heard a lot about who's on, who's not on, anything like that. So let's take a different twist. Do you believe there's any country that they're going to play against for the men or the women's team that's going to really challenge them and possibly beat them and stop them from getting a gold medal?
No.
I'd have to agree. I think when you look at the men and you look at the women, you just sit there and think there's more talent on other teams than there has been in the past. But like I've said, before, I think the big thing is it's more spread out. You get 10, 12, 15 of the best players in the world, you put them on one team. you take another 30 players and you spread them across the world across 15 teams.
Yeah.
It's not really the same. I wouldn't do that trade, Ant. Just to answer that, I wouldn't do that.
Just so everybody can see what trade you're talking about. Yeah, I wouldn't either.
Yeah, I wouldn't do that. You know, I do it for you know what they're gonna do it for? Because they got the cap space.
Hmm.
They're gonna do it for Kimba. They get Kimba in 2 seconds for Ben Simmons in the first. You got to throw it first in though. If you want to make a trade with Oklahoma City, you got to include a first round pick. If it doesn't include a
At
first
least,
round pick, they're not interested.
at least one.
At least one. At least one.
Yeah, I mean that's really what it comes down to. And honestly, man, it was cool when we had the first Dream Team, right? Just because it was the first time we ever saw that collection of talent ever put together on one team. So it was a cool thing. I know some people got pretty hyped up about the Redeem Team as well, just because there was that little bit of a fall off period and like, okay, this is our get back right moment. But honestly, since then, I've kind of lost interest in even watching the men's basketball team because it's it's really not any contest. Like they're gonna win, and most of the games aren't even close. They're not even fun to watch. You know. Now the women's that's a different story. You know, I'm not sure if there's another team that has the talent as a whole to be able to compete with the women's. But I think their games are going to be maybe a little bit more competitive, so they'll at least be a lot more fun to watch. The outcome will actually be in some doubt in a couple of games, maybe. So that will at least make them more interesting to watch. The men's games, I mean, I don't even have to watch. I already know what the outcome is going to be.
Well, see, for me, the men's game, and again, I love watching basketball. You know what I'm saying? I watch Middle Tennessee State and ORU play. You know what I'm saying? If I catch it on TV and I'm good and I don't have anything else going on, I'll watch that. So I love watching basketball. But what I like is to see the guys from other teams that kind of try to step up. You know, like you'll have some guys that may be Lithuania, different teams. They'll try to kind of step up and see how good they are against some of the NBA talent. And you see sometimes some of those guys end up sliding over to the NBA in a year or two. But I like seeing some of the other talent against the USA in the positions. Because obviously,
Yeah.
real talk, we know what's going to happen with the game as a whole. But sometimes the matchup within the game, you get a good one and you get something that you can watch and kind of be interested in versus watching the score. Because if you just look in to watch the score in the overall game, yeah, you're gonna tune out pretty quick. But I do enjoy watching, and then I enjoy when the other teams are playing each other too. So I find myself watching a lot of games that include two teams that are not the US just to see kind of how they match up against each other. You hit on something else we was gonna talk about tonight, Ant.
Yeah. Yep.
Might as well get to it.
Yeah. I don't know if Cruz what they doing, man. He tripping, bro. Like, I mean, it's one of the things. It's ultimately not going to end up being a big deal, but like, come on, bro. You got to know better, man. Like,
It's funny though, bro.
it is funny. You got to know better, man. Even LeBron was like, "Look, this is how you know Caruso ain't going nowhere, right?" Because LeBron over there making jokes about it. I like,
Well, you know,
yeah, he ain't going nowhere.
that's LeBron
Right.
boy. You know what
Yeah,
I'm saying?
LeBron like y'all bringing Caruso back. That's a done
Caruso.
deal.
Yeah, that's LeBron boy. You know Caruso. You know what I'm saying? But that's you got to be smarter than that, Caruso man. Can't be out there with your herbal ecstasy just out everywhere like that, bro.
I was like, bro, how you like do that at the house, man? What's wrong with you?
That's what you gotta do, bro. You gotta do that, behind closed doors somewhere off. You know what I'm
Right.
saying? Forgot you wanted in LA on the west side.
Right. Oh, they're messing up, man.
Over there in Texas. Messing up.
And said the Sparks beat the Mystics yesterday.
Okay. Yeah, the Sparks looking the Sparks is kind of the funny thing about the Sparks to me is consistency. Like they have a lot of talent. They're missing some pieces and people coming back from injury and stuff, but just consistency. If they consistent, man, they should be one of the better teams. I know they had a down year last year, but again, the opt out and injuries played a part in that. But yeah, They're a
Yeah.
pretty solid team. So that's what's up.
Yeah, I mean, I think that's the thing with a lot of teams, right? It's always comes down to consistency. Who can be the most consistent? I mean, some teams had that ability to kind of turn it on when they need to, but that's a very dangerous way to play. If you just out there cruising and you only turn it on when you feel like you really need to, it's sooner or later it's gonna catch up to you.
There's
So
there's a
that
lot of
consistent,
NBA teams you can ask that.
so that consistency component, man, that's a big part of it.
That's a question I'll let you answer.
So I will answer you like this, Woody. It's hard to honestly say right now because in order for LeBron to win another ring in the next 3 years, I'm going to assume that that's in LA. I think you have to have a couple things that happen. Number one is he has to be able to prove that the injuries he's had the last 2 years are not just because he's getting old. That they were just fluke injuries and that he's not starting to break down. That's going to be one big component of it. Another thing is Anthony Davis is going to have to be a lot healthier than he was last year, and we all know that that's a big ask. And then finally, I feel like LA has to go out and get that third star if they really want to be able to win another championship because of the fact that LeBron is getting older and the fact that Anthony Davis can't stay healthy. You need to have a third guy that you can depend on. I mean, we even saw Brooklyn this year, even having three superstars, they still ended up getting bit by the injury bug and getting knocked out. So it's one of those things you can't go out there with just two guys right now, especially when one is towards the end of his career and the other one is injury prone. And they gotta get some shooters too. But yeah, I mean, I think if they, from a talent standpoint, if they can stay both healthy, he can absolutely win another ring. They need to put some shooters around him, and they need to get a third star who can take some of the load off.
I agree with and I think you're gonna get one because at the end of the day, LA's gonna do what it takes to get another star in there and to retool the bench. They heard a lot from some of the guys that they let go. A guy like a Rondo, you need to go find another guy that's that type of leader.
Yep.
You know what I'm saying? Dwight Howard and your other bigs that you let go. You got to kind of have some guys that can play like JaVale McGee as well. You got to have guys that can come in at least play, give you some good solid minutes at the foul spot. You don't really need guys that require a lot of shots or that are outside of the lane. But you need, those guys to have those big bodies for when you have certain matchups where you need them. I think they were missing that as well. But those things are going to be rectified, man. LA's going to rectify those things. And you got a good trade piece in Kyle Kuzma. To me, he ain't never get it done there. I think he's a good player. He just can't get it done there because he's playing with greats and sometimes it's difficult.
Oh yeah, I'm gonna go ahead and say it. I've said it between us personally in conversation, but I'm going to say it here on air as well. Kyle Kuzma has reached his peak in LA. Now,
Yeah.
I'm not saying he's reached his peak. I'm saying he's reached his peak in LA. He needs to go somewhere else in order to really continue to develop because he is not a guy who can come off the bench and be successful. He's not a guy who cannot have the ball in his hands and just occasionally get it and hit the big shots for you. He is a guy who needs to be involved in the game in order to actually play well. And he's never going to get that opportunity in LA. So you might as well trade him. He's got value still. He can still actually go somewhere else and be really good, I think. But in terms of being a Laker, we've seen the best that Kyle Kuzma can possibly be in LA, and it's time to move on.
Yeah. And I think as well, you got to think about just real simply, man. Kyle Kuzma was there. He played well before they got there. Once those guys start coming, he kind of regressed. But you look at Jeremy Grant, for instance. Jeremy Grant was with us 2 years ago. Played well for us, man. Played really well, as a matter of fact. But he wanted to go somewhere where he'd get more opportunity. He went to Detroit, and he's showing that he's deserving of that. I think Kyle Kuzma is another guy cutting that same cloth. Like, I need my own team where I can be at least the number 2 option, preferably the number 1 option. It's definitely not where he's at now. So it's just a matter of, is he okay with going somewhere that sucks, though? because in order for that to happen, you're probably gonna have to go somewhere that sucks. But
Yeah.
hey, he'll free up some money for y'all. If I was y'all, I definitely would lowball Dennis Schroeder for next year if he come
Yeah.
back. You know what I'm saying? We got to pay MPJ.
Definitely low ball and shoulder after
Yeah,
what he tried to pull off.
yeah. Your boy Witty, man, up there again, trolling,
I'm glad he put that on the screen with you.
trolling. But nah,
Glad he put that
yeah.
out there. Stop trying to send Ben everywhere. Why don't y'all go ahead and trade LaMelo for Ben?
Oh,
Since
he
you
ain't
gonna
gonna like
talk
that one.
crazy. Since you gonna talk crazy.
Yeah, like that one. But right now he ain't worried about them. You know, right now he's on the Chris Paul bandwagon, which I ain't mad if you just say, hey, I really want Chris Paul to win, so I want Phoenix to win just for that. But like I say, man, you can't stop me from believing. Very simply, Clippers, Bucks, NBA Finals.
He said then they're going to the finals
After y'all get Ben,
after they get Ben.
you be in
I'm
the
not sure which finals they're going to, but it's
you'll
not
be in
the
the
NBA
finals for the first.
finals.
You'll be in the finals for the first round pick.
So here's the thing, man. I'm a bit torn on who I really want to see win it all this year, right? Obviously, my Lakers are out, so I don't have that in there. Now, I do not want to see the Clippers win, right? Little brother, you never want to see little brother win.
Call him little brother.
So
Hey,
yeah.
disrespectful.
So I mean, that's what they are. It is what it is. So I wouldn't be mad about Phoenix. I wouldn't mind seeing Chris Paul get a ring. I wouldn't be mad about that at all. I wouldn't mad to see the Bucks win. Giannis get him a ring. Atlanta's the other one I'm a bit torn on. There's a part of me living here in Atlanta, seeing the team, actually liking the way they play. I think they're an exciting team. There's a part of me that would kind of like to see them win. But then there's a part of me that understands just how freaking annoying Atlanta fans are. And I don't want to ever see them win anything because they don't know how to act right.
Well, I do not want Phoenix to win. So if you're playing Phoenix in the finals, if Phoenix makes it to the finals, whoever they're playing, I will be cheering vehemently for. I do not want Phoenix to win.
So basically, what you're saying is that Phoenix might as well just be the New England Patriots for you,
And the Dallas Cowboys rolling the one.
and the Dallas Cowboys. Yeah, wow, all at one. That's brutal, man, brutal.
You swept us. I want no success for you ever.
I'm not even mad about the fact that they beat us because I know they wouldn't have beat us if we didn't have an automated
I know you
jersey.
ain't mad because you didn't get swept. What you
We ain't
mean?
get swept. We ain't sorry like y'all.
You
Sorry.
didn't get swept in the first round though.
I'm sorry.
You made it to the second round, unlike somebody.
Hey, you lost to the same team we did. If you would played them in
But
the
not
first
in the
round, you
first
would have got
round.
swept in the first round.
Nah, it wouldn't happen in the first round. It wouldn't happen in the first round.
Well, man, that is all of our time for tonight. So appreciate everybody for tuning in, especially with the time change and the new time slot here. So appreciate y'all tuning in. This will be our time slot going forward. So make sure you tune in and join us every Friday night at 7 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. And next week, maybe go ahead, click the link, hop on, come on live with us on camera. You can ask any question you want. It doesn't even have to be something we're talking about tonight. It can be any football, basketball questions that you might have that you want to discuss. Just hop on the air. We'll talk about it for a few, and that'll be it. So that's how we're gonna roll. Make sure you hit that subscribe button down there in the bottom right hand corner. And I know Cool want to remind everybody, bring a friend with you next time.
Bring
3, 2.
Harlem World double up.
Well, man, that's it for the night. You have any closing thoughts you want to leave the people with, man?
If the Bucks don't win a championship, fire Budenholzer. And maybe if they do, still fire him.
Oh, he fired. That's why I'm not 100% sold on picking them. Ooh. Witty Flow with the hot take in the comments.
Hot take.
I think we're gonna go ahead and leave it on that note.
Yeah,
So
yeah.
ETL to Charlotte, North Carolina. Y'all better know that.
Yeah. 7 p.m. next week. Let's get it.
The play callers.